Having exhausted the books Kenji lent me in just a few nights, I go back to the library, deeming it safer alternative for being ready for getting my reading fix. I return the books he had stolen while I'm at it, to Yuko's delight. I don't tell her where I got them though. Well, you sure read a lot, don't you? I don't remember her voice. Yeah, I do. I guess I do. I do. Even I think it's weird. I think I might have a reading problem. Maybe I'm a junkie. Yeah. But no, I didn't mean it that way. It's not weird at all. And being addicted to reading is a lot better than being addicted to something else. Yeah, I know. It was a joke. It's a joke. I smile at her reassuringly and drop the books on the counter so Yuko can check them out. I feel tired, so I sit down in the vacant chair in front of the desk. While Yuko goes through the modest pile of reading material I found, I let my gaze wander around the library. At the tables, a pair of girls chattering in hushed tones rather than working on their homework. The short-haired one notices me looking in the direction and waves at me. When I waves my hand back, they glance at each other and giggle in unison. I'm not sure how I feel about that, so I decide it's a good thing. The one who waved at me has a horrible case of epilepsy. I saw her having an attack a few days ago. It was one of the most disturbing and scary things I've ever seen in a very long time. I guess they didn't tell us. Yet there she is, happily chirping away about whatever it is, as if she doesn't have a care in the world. You know, the school really is something else. Yuko raises her eyes from the books she was going through, slightly startled. She adjusts her eyes and puts on a nervous, confused smile. What do you mean? I don't really know how to explain it. It's just that everyone's so active, or how should I put it? It's not just the festival thing. I think even though I haven't been here that long, but it's everything. People talk more, work harder, and just are more than in any other school I've seen before. I'm struggling for words, but it feels like I'm speaking honestly. I am also struggling for words that I can't read. Oh, the school feels so alive. Okay, so it's refreshing, or it makes me feel like I'm stuck. How would it make him feel stuck? I'm actually not too sure about that one. Honestly, I don't even know. I don't even know. I'd say it's refreshing. Honestly, for my case, I'd say it's refreshing. Makes me feel like I'm stuck. I'm not sure. What would he be stuck on? That's the part that I'm sort of don't know about. If I understood what he meant by it, it makes me feel like I'm stuck. Then I'd probably be more inclined to pick this one. So I'll just go with it's refreshing. Sure, there are some people like this in my old school too, but not as many. It feels more intense somehow. I think if I had to pin it down to one thing that the students here really appreciate going to school. I don't think that's a bad thing. Yeah, me neither. Suddenly I realize that I've just been babbling my thoughts to Ego out of the blue. She's a bit of a jumpy person, so I fear I might have made a bad impression. She's looking at me with what I hope is curiosity rather than horror, so I figure she's alright. Sorry for suddenly talking about weird stuff like this. I didn't mean to trouble you. Oh no, it's no trouble. I'm happy to listen if you feel like talking. Makes me feel a little reliable too. Yuko smiles sweetly, and a little bit ironically at that. I respond with a thankful smile of my own. As she pushes the neat stack of books across the counter, I stand up and gather them in my arms. Here you are. Thank you. I guess we'll be meeting. I guess we'll be meeting each other again. Please come here anytime. Yuko's kindness is heartwarming. You count on it. See you later. See ya. Do 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 do. That was like 5 minutes. If I kept going with the last part, then it would be 4 in a row. The morning of the track meet greets me with a brilliant sunshine of crystal blue sky. While I leisurely stroll towards the track, I decide this is a good sign of what I'm not sure. This event isn't as exciting for me as it seems to be for a large portion of the student body. I'm even less interested in watching sports than I am participating, but cheering for Emmy is a good cause. I'm not expecting this to be any sort of amazing and spectacular experience, but it can't hurt. I'll probably be spending the time reading while cooped up in my room otherwise. When I approach the bleachers, I spot Rin emerging from the crowd right before she spots me. You came. Of course I said I would, didn't I? That doesn't necessarily imply that you had to follow through. Lots of people say things you don't mean them, and don't mean them. Well, I don't. Rin shrugs, seemingly bored with our conversation. She turns out on her heel and heads back towards the stands. So, are you excited about this? Not really. Me neither. Why did you come? Why did you? She doesn't reply at all, so I decide not to either. We enter the bleachers and Rin nods upwards. Up there. Rin leads the way, and soon we settle down on almost empty bench. There's an older woman sitting next to Rin. Someone's mother, I assume. You can't tell? Alright. She got rather long hair done up in a braid. On seeing Rin, she gives her an oddly familiar seeming grin. Well, this is surprising. I thought you went to get a snack, not a boy. Huh? This is no good. The woman laughs at Rin and shakes her head, apparently unable to find a comeback for that. I know that feeling. Don't remember her voice either. Well, I suppose you've been one to go out for one thing and bring back another. But I'm being rude. I haven't introduced myself. I'm Maiko Ibarazaki. I'm sure that if you know this girl, you've at least met my daughter too. Pleased to meet you. Well, that explains it. She's like a taller, older, more motherly Emmy. Apart from her hair being somewhat darker than her daughter's, there's really no mistaking the resemblance. Sorry, I'm Asao, the Sao Nikai. Nice to meet you. I'm Rin Tezuka. Miss Ibarazaki laughs again. She really doesn't resemble her offspring. She really does resemble her offspring, and then leans back a little on her seat and raises an eyebrow. So now that we all know each other, how long have you and Rin been dating? The response consists of silence as my brain suddenly lurches into gear. But just before I begin to utterly hesitate babbled explanation, Emmy's mother bursts into laughter again. Ha, you're a blusher, aren't you? I don't know if there's any way to keep my dignity in the situation, so I settle for a mumbled response. We're not. I know, but it's funny to watch you squirm. I'm sorry, forgive an old woman her amusements. She chuckled again to herself. Old woman. She doesn't look that old to me. I suppose I can let it go. How kind of you. It's starting. I direct my attention to the track where they're preparing for the first sprint. It looks like the 400-meter dash. My eyes scan the runners before finding Emmy. She's smiling with an almost cocky look on her face. The starter raises his pistol. Emmy explodes off the block, disappearing from the starting line and blur. It's amazing, even as the other sprinters converge on the lanes closest to the inside line, Emmy surges to the front of the pack. By the time she rounds the final turn, a few of the other runners have caught up with her, but she puts up a final burst of speed that leaves them at least half a second behind. Miss Ibarazaki whoops and shouts, applauding wildly and generally looking like any other parent cheering on their child. Emmy bounds off the track looking pleased with herself. I cheer right along with the rest of them. The announcer sounds suspiciously like Misha, gleefully gives the results. I think she's gone faster since the last time. Oh, that was incredible. Miss Ibarazaki grins proudly. Emmy's a heck of a runner. We fall silent as the next event prepares to start. I'm surprised to see Emmy striding out onto the track again. Wait, didn't she just run? Emmy's mother nods. Yes, but she runs multiple events for the team, especially the sprints. It's a lot of running, but Emmy can handle it. From looks of things, she's right. Emmy doesn't appear to be tired, as if she had run from previous events at all. If not for sweat visible on her shirt, you'd never know. Which event is this? It's the 200-meter dash. She'll do this one, the 100-meter, and the relay. Oh my goodness. I see. I never want to do that running ever. Once again, the pistol sounds, and once again, Emmy flies off the block. Thumping sounds draw my attention away from the race. Twin split. She seemed completely absorbed in the race. Emmy's mother cheers again, and I assume the race is over. Sprints don't seem to me like they take very long to complete. Yes, you're right, Sal. Your foot. Your foot was bouncing on the bleachers. Oh. You seem pretty into this stuff. I'm surprised. I thought you'd said this wouldn't be exciting. I suppose you're right. It's not that interesting. But I'm watching Emmy, not the sport. I don't follow. Emmy's the most Emmy when she runs. You don't get to see Emmy at her Emmyest very often. But here, you can see. She directs my attention towards the track again, where the 100-meter dash is about to start. I watch Emmy closely. As she gets onto her starter block, her whole body seems to relax, but it's a false relaxation. I can see that she's actually like a cold spring. As the starter tells everyone to get set, her head snaps up, her eyes narrow slightly, her mouth curls upward in what seems to could be a grin, and could be a growl. When the pistol goes off, it's as if she'd been unleashed from a cage. Like she was almost moving at the blinding speed, but we couldn't see it happening until the starter's pistol dispelled the illusion of motionlessness. As soon as she crossed the finish line, the fierce look was replaced by her normal grin. The conquering general returning to his fame. Amazing. She really is amazing. I've never seen someone move that fast. Well, don't look at me. I'm far too relaxed to run that fast. No, I think Emmy's prowess all came from her father's side. At that mention of Emmy's father, Miss Ibarazaki looked wistful, almost sad. He got her into running, you know. Ah, really? I didn't know that. I'll leave it at that, and don't say anything for a little while. I get the feeling this is something personal I shouldn't ask about. A beeping noise suddenly emanates from Miss Ibarazaki's pocket. Reaching onto it, she pulls out a cell phone and looks at it. Alright, where's her pocket? I don't see a pocket. Whatever. Just, honestly, text messages. What is he, 16? Oh, nothing. I've got to meet up with a friend of mine. Well, you tell Emmy I'm very proud of her, then let's all call her later tonight. Of course. She didn't have a pocket. She didn't have a pocket on her dress. While waiting for the relay to start, I appear at Rin. She seems uninterested in her surroundings, myself included. The remark she made before is still stuck in my head. Emmy's the most Emmy when she runs. It does make sense now that I think about it, after seeing her run now. I can't believe Emmy gives her all on the track. Sports are more than a hobby, or even a competition to her. They're defining aspects of her life. What about Rin then? Does she feel the same way about art? Considering the persistence she displayed for the festival, I could easily believe it. Did you see Rin at her most Rin when she was painting the mural? The relay is about to begin, but I don't see Emmy anywhere. I thought Emmy ran the relay. She runs anchor, so she won't be running for a while yet. Ah. Did you see it? Huh. Emmy at her Emmyest. Maybe. Maybe this time. The race begins, and I cheer Emmy's teammates along as they pass the baton. Finally I see Emmy sprinting on the track to take the final handoff. It looks like the people from the first race are racing again. Once again, I'm taken aback by how graceful she looks when she runs. It really is beautiful. The look of determination and fearlessness on her face only adds to the picture. Emmy at her Emmyest, I suppose. Emmy flies across the finishing line with a great leap, just barely ahead of the next runners, but still in first. Well, let's go down. Gotta crown the victor. See if you can find a laurel branch. That's not gonna be easy. Rin shrugs. At least we tried. Emmy is surrounded by her teammates, all of them congratulating her on the run. Rin seems to be waiting for Emmy to notice that she's arrived. It doesn't seem her style to draw attention to herself, or to promote beyond shrugging. Being more impatient than Rin, I waved to Emmy in her stead. She looks up and grins happily at us. Hey, you showed up! We should have brought you a crown of laurels, but itself, I didn't find one. Neither did you. It wasn't my job to look. What did we assign jobs? When I said see if you find a laurel branch. Try to keep up. I shrug. Guess Rin rubbing off on me. Seems it's my fault after all, Emmy. Emmy laughs at Rin and me. It's okay, I'm sure you'll make it up to me somehow. Sure. Good, so how'd I look? Very impressive. Emmy seems pleased with this assessment. I don't mention how much more impressive her performance is, giving her lack of legs. I figure she knows that already. Besides, it seems like it wouldn't take away from her effort somehow. Great to hear. I was worried that I looked a little slow on the relay, but I guess you did fine, huh? Emmy giggles and seems to remember something. Oh, before I forget, Rin and I are going to do something next Sunday as a post-track meet celebration. You should come along. Normally we do it the day after, but since today is Sunday, I've got homework and class and all that stuff to take care of. Oh, sure. I'd love to. Great. As a promise, then. Alright, your mom's wanted to say she's proud of you. She'll call you later tonight. I thought I saw her in the stands. I'm glad she made it. Emmy, you're gonna miss the medal ceremony. Oh yeah, thanks. Oh. She turns to Rin to myself. You don't have to stick around for this part. It takes forever. Besides, you get cracking on your homework now if you don't want to be up too late, Sal. Emmy skips back to her teammates, leaving me and Rin by ourselves. Neither of us have the slightest interest in the post-competition ceremonies, so we silently get away back to the quad. Rin yawns without even even trying to restrain herself, and shuffles her feet around restlessly. I feel awkward, but less so than if I was with someone else. Still, if I'm left hanging, not knowing what I should do next, or say next. Emmy was great, wasn't she? She was great. I am very jealous of her. Why? Like I said, don't you think it's great to be able to really beat yourself? It sounds weird coming from Ren. I don't think you, of all people, should have trouble finding a way to express yourself. Don't you have your paintings? She turns to look at me for the first time, and I see in her eyes this strange, hollow expression that I think must be unique to her. Don't you see, the problem is that I'm not really sure who I am. Huh. What part to cut it at? today's art club meeting is currently on hold while everyone's waiting for Namaya to show up and take the time to try and explain the theory to Yamaku to Rin. I've tried to figure out what exactly about the school feels so special to me. My concept I took especially to try to explain to Yuko the other day. It's still difficult, but the track meet and the time I've spent observing my fellow students have helped my ideas to mature. My ideas mature a little. Have you noticed that you don't really talk all that time? Have you noticed that people talk all the time? I can't really explain it, but once again, as I try to explain my observation, I'm struggling for words. The student body is heavily clicked, and I'm only now beginning to make sense of the intricate grouping and popularity networks. And the feeling of being part of a group is stronger here than I remember it being in my old school. I'm trying to say that the school isn't like other schools, or at least the students aren't, even after discounting the obvious. Do you know what I mean? I don't know what you mean. Oh, well, whatever then. I want to pursue the issue, but at that point, Maya arrives. The teacher is wiping sweat from his forehead with a handkerchief and breathing rather heavily. He quickly glances over the room and then settles down a bit. Hello. Apologies for being late. Is everyone present? Good. I must confess, I haven't really planned anything for today as I had been extremely busy lately, but I'm sure we can come up with something entertaining. Anyone have any suggestions? I was thinking that we could have discussion circles since we haven't had one in a while. I, at least, found the last one magnificently enjoyable. There's some rumors here and there, but nobody raises the voice in support against we could delve into various movements of art, or does someone have a good topic in mind? Come on, throw it out there. It doesn't matter if it's silly or odd, we can always cook up something interesting. Nobody seems to be brave enough to make a suggestion. As the awkward silence refuses to be broken, I left my hand in the air. Oh, our newest friend seems to have something on his mind. He's speaking up. Speak up, my boy. Speak up. Well, I don't know about anyone else, but I've wondered why art exists in the first place. My voice trails off, silence sets in the room, and nobody makes a follow-up on my meek suggestion. Then the teacher bursts in laughter. Oh, excellent. Very good indeed. Right out of the gate with this big one, huh? Fabulous. Chuckling, he shifts to some papers around on his neck. Not his neck, his desk. For a few moments, when he's done, he appears to have made some sort of decision. Very well then, let's run with this and see where it gets us, shall we? Yeah, let's. Oh my. Even an old foggy like gets excited when such delicious enthusiasm is present. Oh my, indeed. Let me gather my thoughts a moment so I can figure out a good starting point for everyone. For some reason, the teacher seems to be almost literally bursting with excitement. He scribbles a view down on a loose sheet of paper, then cleans his glasses, and then he strikes a pose and freezes for an overly dramatic, artistic pause, then spans what must be half a minute. It's so quiet I could hear a pin drop. First, let's come up with a few questions. Then we answer such as, what is art, and why does art exist? Anyone have any questions that might be related? The boy with sunglasses pipes up with almost immediately. His voice is soft, and I have a hard time making out what he says. What defines an artist? After him, another question comes up. I fill a cardboard box with water and call it art. Is it art? What the fuck? Everyone laughs at that, even the teacher. Great, wonderful, all of these. Let me start by saying that this is not a clear-cut issue by any means, and as such, I'm not going to give any answer to you. I'm only going to speak from my own perspective. Scholars have argued that these sorts of questions since time immemorial, and there has been a broadly applicable consensus reached. Fuck. There are, however, some qualities that most tend to generally agree upon. However, you should find these acceptable as well. In short, art defines itself. It simply cannot be contained to a definition from the outside, since the boundaries of art expand and contract from forces within. Every day, someone somewhere comes up with something completely outrageous that challenges any of all preconceptions. The core reason for this is the rather than rational side of the mind. Art appeals to intuition and instinct, the primal. You would find it very hard to explain. Why exactly is it that you enjoy some particular style of piece? No, he doesn't waste for. Oh God, he doesn't waste for a response before continuing. That is exactly why. So art is the sort of wild, uncontrollable thing that lurks somewhere deep in our subconscious. Now why does it exist? Maya apparently expects someone to pipe up with a guess, but as nobody dares to interrupt, his inspired speech continues. It's a trick question, you see. Art also validates itself. Generally speaking, you might say that art exists for no other purpose than itself. It's something that exists merely to leave a mark in history. It's the defiance of a mortal against the face of darkness. As we once said, art is truly the proof of our existence. You all should know that human culture and civilizations are tightly tied to the existence of art. Then, what about the artist? What drives a man to dedicate his life to a thing so fickle and mysterious that it even defies definition? There are as many answers for this as... This hurts. There are many answers for this that there are artists, but if I had to put it into words, an artist doesn't mean make an art because he can, but because he must. Namaya takes a pause and his gaze sweeps over his audience's eyes flaring with passion. It's obvious that the teacher touches the very soul of each and every human being in one way or another. So if you must give it a chance to connect with a fellow man in such a fundamental way, how could you not? There's a poem I'm very fond of, and I shall recite the most well-known part of it to you now. I feel that for me personally, of all possible things, it captures best the essence of what it means to be an artist. Maya leans against the desk as he clears his throat in preparation. Looking at some distant place, he utters the words in the heavy afternoon air with his soft, bass voice. To see a world in a grain of sand, and a heaven in a wild flower. Hold infinitely in the palm of your hand, an eternity in an hour. There is a solemn and unbelievable awkward silence as he finishes reciting the short fragment. Nobody dares to speak a word. I wonder how he could read my mind. Maya clears his throat again. To be an artist is to be in the world in a grain of sand. You see, dear children, without art, there would not be much to live for in this world. It is the most profound thing. He is clearly touched by the notion. I almost expect to see a lone tear rolling down his rough cheek, but it never comes. I turned to Rin and whispered to her, So how is this the discussion circle? She shrugs nonchalantly back at me. The previous one was the same. To his credit, Namaya does try to get some debate going, but the club seems to be reluctant to comply. I feel a bit guilty about opening my mouth. Maybe we would have been spared from this. Oh, thank you. As the meeting comes to a close, I realize we haven't once touched any painting or pens today. I feel somewhat disappointed. Oh God. Suddenly Namaya appears next to us. He seems to be still fired up from the speech she delivered. His cologne smells musky and saturated, but at the same time gives an instant headache. Even though I'm not scented perfumes, he's looking at Rin like a hungry wolf. Tezuka, do you remember as Miss Tayoji who visited us at the festival? I think so. I'm gonna tell you something amazing. The thing is, she is a very well-known gallerist around here. It turns out I might be able to get her to consider having some of your work put on display. He He descended with a dramatic gesture. It seems he expected Rin to show some of his joyous, shocked reaction to such a grand news, but she just stares at him blankly. Magnificent, isn't it? This could be a real challenge for us to get ahead, girl. But, now, I know what you're about to say. Yes, it would be a simple affair, but I think this is an absolutely fantastic opportunity. Frankly, I wouldn't be surprised at all if we even made it big. This could be the first step, and then the word is out. We strike while the iron is hot, right, Nakai? Yeah. It does seem pretty great if you're into that kind of thing. See, we should definitely not let this pass. Am I right? I don't really. Seems to be troubled for some reason. I can't figure out why. What Namaya is saying does indeed sound like a possible great thing. She looks pretty down though. I've never seen her like this. So what do you think? Red looks up to her teacher's glowing face, then looks down at her desk. I'll think about it. Namaya is at least taken aback by Rin's lack of superlative delight. Then he smiles wildly at her and gently pats her head. Good girl. Oh, God. Ew. Yeah. This club meeting is finally over, and I just lazily collect my things and help clean up. I start feeling exhausted for some reason. There isn't much to do. However, so it's over quickly. I catch up to Rin, who left the club room just a moment earlier, so we're walking down the stairs to the ground floor. While I try to go over to Maya's passionate speech about art, and Rin seems to be lost in thought. Not as unusual state for her, I've learned but something about her expression. Makes me feel uneasy. Penny for your thoughts? That'd be too cheap. You're just overpricing your thoughts. I wouldn't be able to sell them anyway. I'm not sure what I'm thinking yet. That'd be a fraud, too, like stealing candy from a baby. That's theft, not fraud. I have to think about what I think. Is that what the teacher said? Getting you work to put on display and all that? She doesn't answer, but stops in her tracks as we reach the lobby. We're the only people around, so it's very quiet. Footsteps echo from a few floors up as someone hurries along the hallway. I think I'm gonna go somewhere elsewhere. I think she really is troubled. Want company? I can't promise much help with the thinking, but it's not like I have much else to do. I'm surprised to do some light exercising, if you like. Then leads me outside to the wall behind the dormitories. There's a small black gate there, made from the same wrought iron as the main gate. It leads to the shadowy woodland park behind the school. The gate is rusty, as if it hadn't seen much use. However, it sits open, so we pass through. It's not forbidden for students to leave the grounds, but somehow I feel a little uneasy. A path leads deeper into the forest. Tall Zelkova maple trees rustle in the wind, their canopies creating patches of chill air hanging in the places where the shadows fall. Oh, wow, it's been a while. I think this is it for this part. So I hope you guys enjoyed. I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye. Goodbye.